You ever have a day where someone tries to strip away everything you've built with just a few clipped words? Your electrical license is revoked. That's how it started. Karen Hall, all starched blazer and legalese, standing on my front lawn like she was the sheriff, and I was the town outlaw flanked by her clipboard squad. I remember just blurting, "I'm not under HOA law," because, well, I wasn't. My family put up this house before HOAs even existed here. But Karen had laser measurer's assistance, and that look of someone who's never lost a fight, like she'd uncovered the crime of the century, my fence. You ever get so mad you can barely breathe, but under it all you're just shocked at the sheer absurdity? That was me. She's snapping photos, measuring the pickets, acting like I'd just buried a body, not installed a fence. And just when I'm deep in fixing a breaker panel across the street for Mrs. Patterson, my phone's buzzing nonstop. And next thing I know, my neighbor's yelling, "Mike, there's someone at your door, looks official." So I bolt home. Black SUV parked, clipboard queen in my driveway, neighbors peeking through curtains. "Mr. Harrison, I'm Karen Hall, chairwoman of the Maple Grove Homeowners Association. We need to discuss your property violation." It's all so staged, I could have laughed if I wasn't living it. She's got her crew reading off heights, tagging boards, flagging my fence as over the limit. I try to keep it civil. "Look, this house isn't part of any HOA. My granddad built it in 87 years before you guys existed." But Karen just smiles, cold as the inside of a freezer. Hall Development Solutions has protocols for non-compliant properties. Your grandfather signed an amended agreement in 2019. This property's under our jurisdiction. That land's like ice water. That's impossible. He passed away in 2018. She slides a folder out with seals, tabs, and what looks like my granddad's signature. Here's the signed agreement, notarized and filed. I stare, sure it's his handwriting. But he'd been gone a year. Something is rotten, but she's pressing, "Your electrical business depends on your license, doesn't it?" Now it's not just about my fence. She knows exactly how to hurt me. And she's not bluffing. Code violations can trigger licensing reviews. Suddenly everything I built, Harrison Electric, 3 years of sweat scraping by that license, is the thin line between keeping the lights on and losing everything. That's when Lena pulls in, press badge on her dash hair and a ponytail, ready for war. My girlfriend's got the nose of a bloodhound when trouble's in the air. Karen's guard goes up instantly. Media aren't welcome at private property discussions. Lena's all I'm here as Mike's girlfriend. But your name's come up in some interesting property deals I'm tracking. Now Karen's crew are glancing at each other, getting nervous. Mrs. Thompson, our nosy neighbor, turns out she's got a camera too. By the time Karen hands me the demand letter, it's all official: certified notice, a complaint submitted to the state licensing board, and a threat to file in federal court. I barely register David, my best friend and next-door contractor, coming over. He's all, "What's going on?" Mike and Karen acts like it's nothing, just a compliance matter. But when David and Karen nod at each other, something twists in my gut. When everyone clears out, I'm just standing there holding these papers that claim my dead grandfather signed our independence away. I start thinking, how does Karen know about my finances, my business? Why is David so chummy with her? I cancel my next job, start digging into Hall Development. Lena's laying out her research on my table. Turns out Karen's company isn't just a local HOA. It's a $50 million real estate machine. 47 properties seized in 3 years, all from folks too old or broke to fight back. Same playbook every time: violation, legal pressure, financial ruin, forced sale. Lena's got the evidence: city planning contracts, bank partnerships, even county assessor connections. Right then, my supplier calls account on hold pending liability concerns. I can't even buy wire for my jobs. That's when I realize Karen's pulling strings everywhere. David swings by, coffee in hand, all sympathetic. But when I tell him Karen's worth 50 mil, he just shrugs and says, "Maybe I should settle some fights aren't worth winning." How does he know her settlement track record? That night, Lena and I go over the so-called signed documents. Granddad's signature is perfect, too perfect. His hand shook in his last years. This one's steady as when he was 50. "They're running a sophisticated forgery operation," Lena whispers. Next thing, Mrs. Thompson shows up with pot roast and a bombshell. She's a retired county clerk who specialized in document analysis. She's watched Karen for 2 years, offers to examine my papers. Some people are more observant than they seem. She winks. Suddenly, I've got hope. Maybe I can prove these documents are fake. But the next community meeting is a circus. Karen's on stage with her evidence, making it sound like my fence is dooming property values and calling my professionalism into question. Neighbors whisper, some side-eyeing me. Then Mrs. Thompson stands up wobbly but voice strong and says, "I have original plat documents that prove Mike's house was never part of any HOA. Karen tries to dismiss her, but Mrs. Thompson is unshakable. "I spent 42 years authenticating documents." Then comes the twist I never saw coming. David, my best friend, stands up and sides with Karen. "Sometimes it's better to compromise, join the HOA, pay the fees." My heart just drops. I realize he's been feeding her info all along. He even uses phrases from our private talks. She's weaponized my own friendship against me. Karen calls for a vote. Half the room are people I've never seen, all voting her way. The news cameras catch it. I overhear David saying, "Phase 1 complete. He'll crack soon." It's like I'm in a nightmare. Everyone's turned, my business is crumbling, my best friend's a traitor. Then the lawsuit lands $75,000 in damages, a federal hearing, and a complaint to the licensing board. Karen's legal team tries to get my contractor's license yanked. My world's collapsing, suppliers, banks, clients, all getting cold feet. Lena's reassigned by her paper conflict of interest, they say, but I know Karen's behind it. I'm totally isolated. Mrs. Thompson calls me to her basement lab. Turns out her retirement includes UV lights, forensic equipment, chemical tests. She's the real deal. After 2 hours, she's got it. These are forgeries. The ink's wrong. The aging is artificial. Signature pressure's mechanical. Relief crashes over me. But she warns, "We need to know who had access to your grandfather's signature. There's always a bigger pattern." Desperate, I search the house, attic, office, everywhere until Lena spots a loose bookshelf. Behind it, a safe. The code's my birthday, of course. Inside, a recorder and a manila envelope for Mike. Insurance policy. I press play. My grandfather's voice fills the room. "If you're hearing this, someone's trying to steal our house with forged documents. I recorded everything." And boy did he. 3 tapes, one with Karen threatening complications if he doesn't join, one with her offering cash for improvements, and the last with David introducing Karen as a community development specialist. They were setting us up all along. Lena records David's confession when I confront him. Turns out he owed Karen $200K and sold me out for a way out. He'd been reporting on my finances, planting surveillance, the whole works. Mrs. Thompson joins us and drops another bomb. She's been building a case against Karen for 2 years, collecting evidence of forgeries across dozens of properties. We've got a shot, but need proof of ongoing conspiracy. David, desperate to redeem himself, agrees to wear a wire to Karen's next emergency meeting. Turns out Karen's fraud ring isn't just local, it's a full-on criminal enterprise. Government contractors forging documents, municipal officials in her pocket. We catch Karen on tape admitting to everything. If Anderson's lab is involved, we could face RICO charges. Robert Anderson. Mrs. Thompson's friend brings his forensic analysis and ties the forgeries to federal security features. She's using government-level paper and watermarks. The final showdown at the community center is chaos. Karen tries to stick to her script, but Mrs. Thompson, Robert, and Lena present irrefutable forensic evidence. And David publicly confesses details, loans, surveillance, everything. Karen snaps, goes from cold professional to ranting tyrant, screaming that we're destroying her improvements. Phones go up, her meltdown goes viral. Federal agents sweep in, arrest Karen for mail fraud, wire fraud, conspiracy, and racketeering. Neighbors who doubted me come up shaken, grateful. Mrs. Thompson is hailed as a hero. Lena's journalism earns awards and reforms. David does community service, and Harrison Electric's reputation rebounds. Karen gets 4 years in federal prison, $3 million in restitution, banned from real estate for life. The fence. We trimmed it to 4 feet, not because of HOA rules, but through honest conversation and real neighborly respect. The measuring tape Karen once used to threaten me is now used for community garden planning. The community center gets renamed for Mrs. Thompson. Lena's reporting sparks statewide reform. And me, I keep my grandfather's recordings close, a reminder that sometimes justice isn't about one person fighting alone. It's about neighbors' skills, courage, and never backing down when something's worth fighting for. So here's my question. Where's the line between order and oppression? When does community standards turn into organized theft? What's the price of fighting for your home even when everyone says you should give up? Drop your thoughts below, and if you've ever stared down power and said, "Not today," tell me about it. This fight wasn't just about my fence. It was about who gets to draw the lines in our lives and what happens when ordinary people decide to redraw them together.